obviously diet is incredibly important. And I find diet is an interesting one, thinking about the general health, because in many ways, diet is another form of herbal medicine. The foods are another form of herb, a bit more extended. So if we talk about flax seeds or soya, an extension of the herbs overlapping into what's happening in diet. And so nowadays we realize that the whole microbiome is so important with everything, which is the same with with women's health. Specifically, it's fascinating when you look at the whole microbiome and the ability to absorb some of the isoflavones, which we find in soya, but obviously in other foods as well. And that there's a whole big variety of how much you can actually absorb depending on your microbiome, which is another aspect of research, isn't it? Because if you're going to just compare two people, one takes soya and the other one doesn't take soya, you still have to keep in mind some other things, because if they are vegetarian, if they eat a lot of plant-based foods, they are more likely to get more access to some of those healthy things in the foods. So I think nowadays we always start to say, well, you need at least have 30 different plant-based foods in your diet in the week. And that will have an impact on the microbiome, and that will also have directly, the microbiome will have a direct influence on how much goodness you absorb from the different foods. And that would, if you then sort of include the things like the pulses, which are full of the sort of phytoestrogenic substances that can be beneficial before as well as after menopause, they get much better absorbed. So, that's an interesting aspect to think about. So diet is really important. And then, of course, all the other things that interplay. We're not just talking about hormones, but if your mental health is so important to look after as well. If you are not looking after yourself, there are so many things, stress or things just happen in life that really put you sideways. That can have a direct impact on your menstrual cycle. Nothing you're taking it. It's just what is happening in life. Traveling will suddenly stop your cycles. So we know there's so many different things that impact without thinking about hormonal herbs yet, but just looking after one's health, making sure you take time out and having some reflective periods to look after your mental health is really important.